Hello and welcome to episode 244 of the Epic Film Challenge, rounding off the trilogy, Toy Story 3. This was released a full 11 years after Toy Story 2. The first Toy Story was released in 1995, the second in 1999. So it was a 4-year gap, but at that time computer-generated films were kind of in their infancy and took a long time to do. And so this one was 11 years, it was a long time coming. People were talking about it for a long time, and eventually it happened in 2010. Now this Toy Story film is actually set when Andy is a teenager and he doesn't play with them anymore, and they kind of come to the realization now that he's grown up and he's going to college, and they don't know what to do. And it turns out he's cleaning out all his stuff, and he kind of doesn't want to get rid of them, so he wants to put them in the attic. But they think when he puts them in the bin bag that he's actually binning them, and his mum picks up the bag and thinks that he wants to bin them, or no, to donate them to this daycare facility. So his mum takes the bag full of all the toys to the daycare, and they go to this daycare and they meet all these other toys, like this big bear character here. I forget what his name is now. Lots of hugs or something. Lots of hugging bear, and I think they just call him Lotso. And they go to this daycare and they meet all these new toys. Michael Keaton as Ken. You get Ken and Barbie, and Michael Keaton's brilliant as Ken. It's a really, really fantastic film. The animation is just off the charts. Obviously this is a full decade after the last Toy Story film, so they've just improved leaps and bounds now, and it just really shows, especially on Blu-ray. And the story's great, when Andy's putting all the toys in the bin bag to put into the attic, he looks at Woody and actually puts Woody in his college box, which I thought was really cool. It's kind of like Andy's like, oh, I gotta get rid of all these old toys, but I'm going to take Woody with me to college because he's still got something, he's still holding on to that part of his childhood, which I thought was really, really touching. And one thing I haven't mentioned throughout this whole trilogy of reviews is that there's a really, really nice emotional core to these films. And as much as it is a film about toys, coming to life, there's so much poignancy to it. I don't know if that's a word. They're very poignant, and it's almost like a film about growing up in a lot of ways and dealing with loss. It's weird. I get that from it, and I think other people do as well. And I love when a film like that can go a little bit deeper, even though it's a kids' film. And Toy Story 3, I think, was absolutely fantastic. It blew me away. I thought it was nearly a perfect film. It's done so well. There's an ending sequence that is just absolutely breathtaking in terms of just an achievement in animating. And I thought the ending was brilliant. They didn't rush it. They played it out well, and it was just the perfect ending. Absolutely loved it. I also loved the beginning of the film, and I loved all the references back to the first film. The beginning of the first film, we see Andy playing with the toys. He's got this little scenario where one guy's the bad guy, and Woody comes in and saves the day, and you see his hands holding the toys and going, oh yeah, look, there we go. At the beginning of Toy Story 3, we get that again, but we see it as his imagination sees it. We get this huge, big western with all these things exploding and giant, we see Andy's imagination of it. And then at the end of this big, massive, blowout sequence at the beginning of Toy Story 3, which I thought was really cool. It was like, right, we're back after 10 years, wow, awesome sequence. And then at the end of that, you just see us Andy in his room playing with his hands. I thought it was brilliant. Such a brilliant beginning, such a brilliant ending. Some great new characters. Really speaks a lot in terms of dealing with loss in a way, like loss of childhood and growing up, and realizing that you got to pass things on from generation to generation. And I think it was a really, really great film. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 for sure. In my eyes, this is a better film than the first one, but I'm always going to prefer the first one because of what it means to me personally, the nostalgia and so on. Toy Story 3 for me definitely gets a 10 out of 10. Pixar, well done.